Hey, it's Brock here with Rock Hill Farm, and today I want to try to answer the question, are the very small, inexpensive mini excavators worth the money? I've been a beta tester for this Badger Power Equipment brand for a couple months now, and I've been running the larger version, but the last few weeks I've been running this small version, put quite a few hours on it, did several different projects, and I think I've got a pretty good feel for what it's good at and what it's not good at. And in this video, we're going to take on two more just small projects digging with this. And while I show it digging, I want to tell you everything I know about it and what I think as far as would I actually buy one with my own money. So let's get to it. So task number one today is going to be taking dirt from this dirt pile, filling the dump trailer, and trying to sort the rocks out of the pile. I'm planning to use this trailer to haul a lot of dirt up onto my trail and top dress the new trail. But I'm not going to do that with this little machine. So primarily, this is not the way I'll be doing this job. But I do need to test and see how well the Bighorn can handle a full load of dirt, how well the trailer can handle a full load of dirt. And because I have this machine here to review, I'm going to fill it with this today just as a test, not because this is necessarily the most efficient way for me to fill this trailer. So just watching a couple scoops of dirt there, I'm sure it jumped out to you that the movements that you're seeing are jerky, a little too fast, a little bit out of control. And I'd say that's about half the machine and half me as an operator just not being that smooth. Now as far as this machine, this is about a 1.5 ton machine, I believe. It has a gas engine, it's a Briggs & Stratton. It has the tracks that you can reduce down really narrow to fit through a gate into a backyard, which is a handy feature if you're using this like in a landscaping business or something like that. These machines are a lot cheaper than similar sized diesel machines because a diesel engine is just so expensive. So you can save a lot of money just by going with that option. I'm going to place the camera directly in my line of sight, so this should look like what I see. Right here we got a rock to get out. One nice thing about an excavator compared to doing this with the tractor bucket is I can sort material. We want dirt, but we don't want rocks. On the larger machines, controls are pretty much standardized, but on these, they're all different. So over here, we have our thumb. And over here is our blade. Of course, these drive the machine. And then these are your standard controls, excavator control pattern. Here we have a switch that you use this to expand and retract the tracks. And this, when you push it, it changes this function from boom swing to just arm swing. So this does have a hydraulic swing boom. So we're going to get into some comparisons here in a little bit between this option or some other equipment that you could buy with the same amount of money. But for right now, I just want to talk about the little excavators. You see these very, very small excavators as low as even $4,000. And they're usually an auction machine with no dealer support at all and, no features. And you can see that it's an inferior build quality. And then you can also get a machine this size from Kubota or Bobcat for $30,000.
And somewhere in between there is probably the best value. If you can find a machine like the one I'm using here, you're probably going to be just under $10,000, and it's got premium features like the swing boom and the thumb and the telescoping tracks and just a higher build quality overall. So if you're interested in one of these type of machines, those are things I would look for when picking a brand. Now, the exact machine that I'm using in this video is not currently available on the market yet, but it will be soon, so stay tuned to the channel for that.
Right now, I want to point out one of the big negatives to a machine like this is stability. So you want to keep the blade, if you're lifting a large amount of weight out in front of you, you want to keep that blade in between you and where the heavy movement of the boom is going to be. What I see online with these types of machines is people tipping them over by having the blade over, like right now it's in front of me, and getting a full weight out here, especially on a slope, but even on flat ground, and then extending this boom out this direction with all that weight. If that had a big rock in it, or a log, or even a full bucket of dirt, this could tip the machine over. A tractor with the same size or the same digging capability is going to not tip over nearly as easy. It's got that extra width, that extra footprint for stability. And I think even bigger excavators are less likely to do that.
So in just a minute, we'll get back to today's project. But I want to reference a couple of earlier projects or videos that could really be helpful in making a decision about a machine like this. Now, I'm not going to repeat everything that was said in the video that you see on the screen right now, but I did an in-depth comparison between a gas-powered mini excavator, it's actually the exact machine we're using today, a tractor backhoe, and a slightly larger diesel-powered mini excavator. And I will put a link at the end of this video where you can watch the comparison video and see what you think. But what I demonstrated in this video is that I could dig a 5-foot deep hole and fill it back in with this tiny little machine within about 15 minutes. And I won't really say that a machine like this is more powerful than the tractor backhoe, because that depends on the model of tractor and the model of excavator. But what I will say is you're guaranteed to have certain advantages. Now, this machine will cost a little bit more than the tractor backhoe, but not a lot more. And with the tractor backhoe, you do gain stability of the tractor, but you lose the maneuverability of an excavator. And some instances that maneuverability is a nice thing, and sometimes it's everything. In some instances, if you can't move the machine without getting off of it and going to the tractor seat, then the time it takes to perform the work is just dramatically higher. The next clip I'm showing is a paid job I did with this excavator. These people had a rock landscaping around their house, and they didn't want it there anymore. But with the roof overhang and the sidewalk and just the entire situation, I decided that this was the right machine for that job. And really, this is still an open space. But if you were working in a backyard where you had to go through a narrow gate, or they didn't want to track up their lawn, or certain situations like that, these small machines are perfect. And because they're so inexpensive, but you can still charge a good hourly rate to run them, a machine like this would probably pay for itself faster than any other type of machinery that I've ran. So let's imagine you charge $75 an hour to run this machine. Then within 100 hours, it'll pay for itself. Now, those are rounded off ballpark numbers that may not even add up exactly, but you get the idea. If you're buying this for your business, it's very realistic that it will pay for itself before you have any problems with it. Another application that I think a machine like this might be great for is the homeowner with a small property. Since I've had my property, I have rented a mini excavator for a week on 3 different occasions, and each time cost a little bit over $1,000. So right there, we're between half and a third of the cost of a machine like this. Then factor in that I've used my tractor backhoes for hundreds of hours, and add all that up. And to get all of that work done that I did with the rented machines and the machines I bought, a machine like this would have easily paid for itself for me. Now that doesn't mean that these are perfect machines. They're very limited in what they can do. But for what you pay for them, I think it can be a great value. I've been playing all of this footage at high speed because my regular viewers have seen all of this footage before. So now let's get into some real-time work with this exact machine and finish the project we were just working on.
Now let's talk about why I didn't fill this further. I've been bragging about how impressed I am with this ATV wagon and the remote dump function. See, it's lifting that. Now keep in mind, this is not dry dirt. We're flooded right now. This is soppy, muddy clay. This is heavy stuff. And what I've found out owning a full-size dump trailer is the big dump trailers that I've had 2 different full-size dump trailers before with 14,000 pound capacity. If you fill that bed with wet dirt like this, you will be 4 times, literally 4 or 5 times the weight rating of the dump trailer. So with wet dirt in a full-size dump trailer, it's going to look like this. You're not even going to come close to filling it. Now, if we're carrying mulch in this, you can mound it up over the top, and there's like bed extensions you can put on to make it taller, and you can mound this thing up. But with wet dirt, I would say that's well over 1,000 pounds of dirt, because one tractor bucket scoop should weigh about 800 pounds, and that's at least a full bucket in a tractor. So I think this trailer could probably handle twice that amount of dirt, but the Bighorn is a recreational side-by-side rated to tow 1,200 pounds. And so if we have 800 pounds of dirt in here, and then the trailer itself weighs 500 pounds, at that point we've already reached the rated capacity of the side-by-side. So if you ever see me have a problem with this Bighorn side-by-side, remind me to come back and delete this clip where I showed myself exceeding the manufacturer's rating on it. So let's see how she does. Well, we didn't have any squealing. Didn't really grunt or complain too much. We got to take this load up a steep hill now.
I feel like this machine has pretty good power to dig, and it has pretty good power to push dirt. But if you try to turn the machine, it struggles a little bit for power, and you have to kind of walk it in a circle, which isn't ideal, but I guess it's just a drawback of your inexpensive machines. I didn't notice that nearly as much with the larger version from the same brand. A lot of times I speed my footage up on repetitive or mundane tasks so as not to waste the viewer's time. But in this case, I think you should see how long it's taking me as I kind of struggle with a different technique here if I want to get directly in front of it or pick around it. But the job I'm trying to accomplish here is to continue digging out the larger rocks from this trail. I've cut my trail across my property, which is a big series on this YouTube channel right now, but the trail is still really rough and it's not as wide as I would like it to be. So a little bit at a time, as I go along, I'm widening and flattening and removing some of the bigger rocks that should have probably come out sooner.
Well, I guess that's about going to wrap this video up. I think that these machines are awesome, and I think anyone would probably be glad to have one, but they have their limitations, and it depends on your situation whether or not it might be worth the money. And if you're considering it, I just wanted to give you some information to make that decision easier. But I appreciate you taking time to watch the video. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.